Hey guys, John Luxy here, back with our walkthrough slash playthrough of Subnautica. Last time we did a bunch of stuff. Actually, not really. We went through a bunch of the scans and we activated the 4 gates in the primary containment facility. So now we're going to go back and look at some of these. Well, I think of them as Kickstarter rewards. I don't know. I don't know if they actually were or not, but that's what I call them in my heart.
Warning, emergency power only. Oxygen production offline.
Yep, oxygen production is offline, guys. All right. Wow, I think that was lightning outside. Well then. I guess we'll see if we lose power here soon enough. Alien technology. Translation device. This device stores linguistic data from over 1,000 different languages. The core of the device may allow alien texts to be read and translated. Analysis of the onboard data reveals a number of ancient Earth languages, and the term CHBC Live appears many times in the device's data. Its import is unclear. The device seems to be configured to translate into the designer's language. It will not work the other way around. Apparently empty case. Nanobots. Scans show some form of advanced nanobot inside the seemingly empty case. These bots are substantially smaller than any developed within the Federation, and it is not possible to ascertain their exact function. It would, however, be unwise to release them. I agree. Unusual box. Organic matter particulator. This device contains a highly unstable radioactive isotope, likely to destroy all organisms exposed to it, while leaving physical structures intact. Although it would function perfectly well as a weapon, it was more likely used to sterilize spaces for later inhabitation. Without instructions, it would be unwise to interact with it. Indeed. Crescent artifact. Tracking implant. This construct is emitting a high bandwidth signal consistent with alien transmissions intercepted elsewhere. DNA on the exterior indicates it was once implanted inside one of the lifeforms indigenous to 4546b. Its size suggesting the subject was a Leviathan-class organism. Beyond tracking and broadcasting its location, the implant may also recorded biological data on the subject. However, this data cannot be retrieved. I'm kind of curious to what it was implanted in. Which, specific Leviathan. I mean, not like which specific one, as in like, oh, it's the one, it's the Reaper in front of the Aurora, but the, like, was it a Reaper, was it a Ghost Leviathan, Alien building block. This rock-like object features organic as well as mechanical parts, and there is some genetic and technological crossover with the design of the self-warping constructs encountered elsewhere. It appears to serve no actual purpose, or no purpose in its current state, and is awaiting some kind of activation sequence. Materials such as this may have been a fundamental building block of the aliens' technology, or even of the aliens themselves. Alright, so there's basically 5 on each side, so we'll just run over here and scan these. Ancient blade. Ancient earth blade. An ancient earth blade, dating back to the 13th century. Blood samples on the blade match the DNA of 7 separate heads of state from the period. I don't know how they knew that. This evidence supports the theory that the aliens are an ancient spaceborne civilization engaged in the surreptitious study of less developed species. Strange carving. Alien carving. This carving is hundreds of thousands of years old and made from an unrecognized natural fiber grown on an unknown planet. It bears striking resemblance to the old Earth yin-yang symbol. Two competing theories may explain the similarity. Theory number 1. Aliens visited Earth prior to the 4th century BC and influenced the development of ancient Chinese philosophy. Or number 2. Number 2 is the concept of yin and yang is universal. Since yin and yang describes the fundamental interdependency of seemingly opposite forces, it may be a necessary existential understanding in some form in all sufficiently developed civilizations. The tapering of two circles, union, into opposed and infinitesimally small points, the finite, is one logical way to represent this understanding, and may have been developed independently by species other than humans. That actually happens a fair amount. For example, if I were to ask who invented the telescope, most people would say Galileo, even though that's not actually true. It's just Galileo was the first person to publicize because he was, well, I assume like it was publicized through the church or something like that. And even though he didn't steal it, it was some other guy somewhere else, like Germany or something, I think. And yeah, so there you go. Now you know. Alien statue. And well, there's Manny again, and I just fed him, which is even more interesting. What do you want, Manny? This artifact is unpowered, suggesting it served a ceremonial rather than practical purpose. The pyramid resembles, man, I can't talk again, spiraling upwards towards the warm blue stone mounted above it. It may represent a plant found in the aliens' homeworld, a building of religious import, or even the gravitational pull of their home solar system. Yeah, I don't know. Circular object. Holographic projector. This device contains network apparatus and a holographic projection unit. It was likely used as a communications relay, capturing and projecting the image of the user to a remote location. There do not appear to be any other devices in range. Rudimentary tablet. This device shares many similarities with the tablets used to access the alien facilities, although its structure is rather less complex. It may have served a similar purpose, granting security access and storing relevant data, and thus was kept here as a form of legacy support. Yep. Let's check out the rest of the fauna real fast. So the bladder fish. This unusually herbivore appears to be mostly defenseless and bears little resemblance to the other life forms around it. Man, it's like such a journey. You know, we're all the way here at the end and we're going back and looking at the bladderfish. Semi-permeable bladder. Bladderfish is able to filter air and seawater into its body cavity through a unique membrane which surrounds its spine like a bladder. This allows it to remove and consume organic particulate caught on the way and adjust its buoyancy. The open-ended vascular tubing can be angled and contracted to pump out water and achieve low-velocity guided propulsion. Largely oblivious to threats and practically immobile at night, its only identified defense mechanism is that it's composed almost entirely of water, air, and cartilage. Assessment edible. Oxygen may be retrieved from the bladder and added to tanks on consumption. There you go. Membrane has applications as a natural water filter. I might do food is okay. The boomerang. That one with its horrifying teeth. An herbivore encountered in large numbers, found to frequent shallow waters and move in schools. Serrated teeth suggest adaptation for grinding corals other herbivores are unable to digest. Twin fins. Unusually, the species' two fins are a cartilaginous extension of its skeleton. They are less prone to damage and provide superior propulsion, but are also harder to grow back. The bright blue tips are in fact the ends of its digestive tract, where the luminescence of the corals it consumes is most focused. So, bright blue tips are where it poops, I guess. Don't eat it. Most active during daylight hours and prone to flee on approach, the boomerang can more easily be observed at night when its luminescence gives it away and seeks the shelter of the seabed. Assessment edible. Aye. Yep, that one. An extreme evolutionary adaptation where 90% of the life form's body mass is dedicated to the ocular cavity. Manny is like rubbing up against my hand, the one that's on the mouse. I guess he's just wanting attention. So the oversized eyeball, deep-set rings in the lens suggest specialization for identifying its predators in low-light environments, long before they come into attack range. I was going to say underdeveloped fins, and then I was like, incapable. Capable of fast movement, the species is vulnerable to agile predators at close range. Shark species may have evolved hunting techniques to close on the eye unseen from above, below, or behind. This organism and the common peeper share a common evolutionary ancestor. While the eye has sacrificed maneuverability, it shares and enhances its cousin's powerful eyesight. Wait, what? Okay, hang on. Oh, right, okay. It shares and enhances its cousin powerful eyesight. Okay, right, so it's got better eyesight than the peeper at the expense of mobility. Got it, okay. It was just a little confusing when it was talking about cousins. The ancestral alpha peeper may have been one of the first life forms on 4546b to develop eyesight many millions of years ago. Assessment: edible, low calorie count. The Gary fish. Aw yeah. Slow moving and curious herbivore, camouflage indicates adaptation for evasive behavior on the ocean floor. You know, I've never really thought about it, but I wonder if it actually does like dive and then stay along the ocean floor. I'll have to remember that. Eye stalks may be beneficial when watching for predators from hiding places amongst the coral. More active during daylight hours, but slow and docile at all times, the garryfish's survival depends on a combination of camouflage and predators who can get a more filling meal elsewhere. Assessment: edible, so it's part of its defensive mechanism is that it doesn't fill you up, I guess. Bullfish, a very small herbivore found in low numbers, often around cave system entrances where their skin coloration blends into the background. Bored out tail fin. By manipulating the size and shape of the hole in its tail, it can perform unpredictable maneuvers. Smaller than most other herbivores, presumably due to lack of vegetation in low light environments. Assessment: edible. Hoopfish, we'll just get through the rest of them. Small, school mentality prey fish with a unique method of propulsion and a distant relative of the bladder fish. Rather than swimming, this lifeform uses the fine green antennae which encircle its body to alter the composition of the water in front of it, allowing it to sail into the low-density space created. That's pretty creative. Purple-green coloration, maybe a camouflage adaptation for mid-range light wavelengths, possibly indicating the hoopfish is more active at dawn and dusk. While behavior of hoopfish will form periodically, not on the mouse manicat, will form periodically and evade. What are you doing? And evade predators en masse. This behavior is more social than it is defensive, and lone hoopfish are often found hunting for food and displaying generally curious behavior. Pretty much all of these can be eaten. Here you go. Hoverfish. Best face. It looks like it's smiling. A small, cautious herbivore, commonly found in kelp-rich environments. 6 unique limb appendages feature charged pads capable of ionizing the surrounding water. The hoverfish uses this ability to maintain its position against the current as it feeds from kelp and lichen. Yeah, see, this is why. Like, there's no picture. So it's it's kind of like, were they rushed towards the end, or did they just forget, or I mean, so it was an early access game, and the people that were playing it essentially helped to develop the game. So it's it kind of makes sense that they were sort of running out of time at the end. Are you going to lay on my hand with the mouse now, Manny? All right. Okay, you're going to have to move in a minute when I have to move the mouse. Okay, so this organism is an adaptation of the common boomerang, evolved to survive in high temperature environments. Dark red coloration helps the subspecies to blend into igneous rock environments. Igneous means from lava. Orange detailing resembles active lava flow, deterring more cautious predators. Marginally bolder than its shallow-dwelling cousins, the magmarang will nonetheless flee any creature larger than itself with impressive speed. Makes sense. Oculus. It's like when I move the mouse, I'm lifting Manny up. It's kind of funny. So this species shares genetic similarities with the common peeper. While the shallows in the cave systems are separated by just a few meters of rock, foodstuffs and threats in each biome are completely different. It is possible a small school of peepers was once cut off in the caves, and the oculus species is how they adapted. That actually is kind of interesting. If you look up ring species, it's basically the same thing. Like, on one side of an island, if there's like little pockets on, like if you look at an island from above and the species live along the beach, so they'll be able to breed with each other if they're next to each other, but the farther they go, eventually they won't be able to. So eventually they become a totally different species, even though they all live on the same island. It's kind of neat. So highly developed night vision, large complex eyeballs provide this herbivore superior vision in the dark with an intense phobia of light. Lack of a beak. While the peeper uses its beak to break down tough corals, the oculus likely feeds on the soft fungal growths.
Calorie intake recommended.
Oh, that kind of scared me a little bit. On the soft fungal growths of the jellyshroom caves, and thus has no need of one. Separated tail fin. The caves in which the oculus lives make it hard to escape from fast predators. The oculus has adapted by splitting its tail fin into 5 separate tendrils. These tendrils prevent it from swimming as fast as its shallow water cousin, but each can be detached and regrown, enabling it to escape more easily when caught. Alright, Manny, you're going to have to get off of my hand, and maybe in my lap, or maybe onto the other chair. Come on, you. Come on, I'm sorry. Here, come on. Come this way. There we go. He is adorable. Okay, Peeper. Kind of the mascot of the game. Where are you going? Okay, you want to be right there? That's fine. Okay, fast prey fish encountered in shallow waters and rich in protein. Developed side-facing eyes are capable of discerning colors not just in shallow waters, but in a variety of lighting conditions. It is also able to close its eyelids, thus preventing light from reflecting off the lenses and rendering the peeper almost invisible to nighttime predators. I'm just kind of eyeballing the food, watching it count down. This species has evolved powerful fins which enable rapid acceleration in still water and the ability to leap meters into the air to avoid pursuers. Except, unfortunately, the Reaper Leviathans can also leap into the air, which is terrifying. And that's how great white sharks attack as well. They come up from underneath. Beak. Likely used to break down corals in tough vegetation. An unusually large nasal cavity serves no obvious purpose, and it appears to be specially evolved to detect a single specific enzyme. Nothing encountered on the planet so far produces a matching odor. Right, because that's enzyme 42, which will actually cure your infection. Expulsion tubes. The tubes attached to the peeper's torso are connected directly to its stomach and gills, and appear to be designed to expel its contents on demand. Purpose unclear. Well, but we know now. because it travels. Well, we'll see in a second. But it basically ingests and expels it distributes the enzyme around the crater that we're in, because we're in a volcanic crater. Basically, is the whole reason why there's life on the planet at all. While the peeper is well adapted to survive in shallow waters, a number of its features serve no discernible purpose. It would appear to be just as well suited to survive in deeper waters, and is somewhat more intelligent than the usual small herbivore. Assessment edible, high calorie count, and further research is required. Red eye. Small herbivorous creature with poor maneuverability has evolved to inhabit high temperature environments. Deep red and orange coloration enable this subspecies to blend into volcanic environments and reflect environmental thermal energy, thus rendering it almost invisible to most predators. Delicate, light-based eyesight is impractical at these temperatures, and the red eye has developed thermal vision in its place. In this species' volcanic domain, edible plant matter and potential predators are the coldest entities in range. I would think the water would be the coldest. But whatever, I'm not picky. Reginald, a small herbivore and a distant relative of the common peeper, sharing that species' well-developed side-facing eyes, approximate size, and body profile. Dull green coloration for deep-water camouflage. Luminescent tail coloration, likely part of mating behavior.
Emergency. Starvation imminent. Seek calorie intake immediately.
Oh, you can hear your stomach. Diet. Filters algae and other plant material from the water via 4 gill-like forward-facing orifices. Assessment edible, high calorie count. We'll read the spadefish real fast, and then we'll jump through one of the gates and grab some fish. Spadefish, medium-sized herbivore found in deeper waters. Single eye observed swimming near the seabed, from where it can keep its one eye on predators in the water above it. Mottled green coloration. Commonly encountered in plant-rich environments, the spadefish is well adapted to hide amongst the vegetation. Spadefish tend to move in loose shoals. That's kind of weird wording, and despite their low speed, will take necessary measures to avoid confirmed predators. Alright. So, that's pretty much everything. We do have the hive mind of Strader 5 or whatever still.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Right. To the prawn. Alright, so if I have to, I will eat the Reginald, but I prefer to keep it as emergency rations. So we're gonna jump through here. And Manny, that's not what... Manny's leaning on the mouse again. I guess he decided he wanted to fire the grappling hook really, really badly. Oh, Manny Cat, you can be a pain sometimes, but you're super adorable. So there we go. Alright. Give me spadefish. Well, hoopfish I'll take.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Boom. Wow, look at all the shuttle bugs. Alright, whole fish. Did I hit it? No, but I'll... Spadefish, I choose you. Did I get it? Maybe? Oh, there it is, okay. I kind of love how you just gorge. What I don't like is how you hit it and then it just disappears. I mean, I don't think I'm blind. It's very possible, though. Well, alright then. Whoa there. Whoa there. Alright, that should do me. should do it. I do like how you can find them, but at the moment, you know, because they're like these little environments, they're basically hidden. So you can find them, but you won't be able to activate them from this side. Not until you get to the end of the game. Yeah, I think if I was going to change one thing about this playthrough, it would probably be read more stuff more quickly. Read stuff sooner, essentially. So let's, I was going to head to in there, you know, the final little area, but we'll do this first. Because I want to hit the 3 other points. Enzyme 42 project data.
Integrating new PDA data.
According to a translated data log, an indigenous leviathan species was found to produce a unique substance referred to as Enzyme 42, which inhibited the symptom of the Cara bacterial infection in other indigenous organisms. The specimen was captured and contained in a purpose-built habitat for their study. That would be this one, the one that we're in. The alien researchers went to great lengths to provide for the lifeform's environmental needs, including the import of interdependent flora and fauna via an on-site warp gate. However, its health quickly deteriorated. When the quarantine was imposed, all warp gates and force fields were sealed. Any and all attempts, to develop the enzyme into a vaccine have been unsuccessful. Which is kind of interesting, right? Because, you know, the enzyme is there. It's kind of sad. Preserved fetus. So you get kind of what they look like now. Sea Emperor fetus. Found preserved in a display case, it was likely a child of the adult specimen contained within the facility. Physiology. Superficial damage to the specimen indicates it was artificially removed from its egg casing. Stunted tissue development suggests the organism expired during the removal process. Tissue samples have been taken from the digestive tract. Analysis. It appears the aliens were attempting to formulate a cure for the bacterium from enzymes produced in the specimen's digestive system. Without a young, healthy specimen, those efforts were in vain. Yep. It's a little sad. And this is something that some people tend to miss, is there's an actual, because it's kind of tricky to scan, preserved egg casing. Sea Emperor egg casing. Shell composition. This shell casing is formed from thick layers of carbon composite, suggesting an extensive gestation period. This leviathan species may give birth just once per century, perhaps just once in their lifetimes. Shell casing incisions. Precise incisions suggest a laser-based tool was used to cut open the egg casing and forcibly remove the fetus inside, prior to full gestation. That was weird. What was that thing? Okay, I thought that was a shuttle bug for some reason. But it was probably the sea dragon's tail. Where was I? Yeah. Analysis. Time pressure to develop a bacterial vaccine may have driven the alien researchers to cut open the egg and remove the fetus for study. It is also possible that, removed from its parent and natural habitat, some vital condition for the infant to hatch naturally was not met. And that's all. All the other little areas, they're empty. Okay. Back to our prawn suit. All right. So you're like, what is this? The pipes. See? And there's a peeper. There goes a peeper. And there goes another peeper. Outflow pipe. Advanced theories. Enzyme host peepers leaving the containment facility. The outflow pipes are filled with peepers traveling back towards the surface. All specimens show no symptoms of infection. All specimens scanned are carrying enzyme 42, which data suggests inhibits the bacterium. Specimens' stomach cavities are otherwise empty, suggesting they may have purged the contents before entering the pipes. Assessment. If peepers have evolved to distribute the enzyme via the pipe network, this may explain part of the mechanism by which life on 4546b has survived since the bacterial outbreak. Inflow pipe. Oh yeah, we still have to go into the dead zone, don't we? Peepers entering the containment facility. The pipes drawing water into the containment facility are filled with peepers arriving from the surface. Fish show no signs of distress. The specimens scanned have all consumed high quantities of seeds and organic matter from the surface. Some specimens are beginning to show signs of infection. Ventilation control.
Integrating new PDA data.
Water flowing to and from the primary containment facility is being automatically controlled, independently of other safeguards. Data on the water for composition has been recorded. Inflow. Water is being drawn from different biomes around the surface of the planet. The water temperature is considerably lower than the volcanic environment outside the facility, while microorganism and nutrient counts are substantially higher. Outflow. Oxygen-deprived water is being flooded from the system and recycled back to the surface. So essentially this whole system is built to keep the Sea Emperor alive. And you can just kind of look around here. There's really nothing else in this area. But you have little, looks cool. Little aquariums on the sides. And I don't believe there's anything down here, but we'll double check. And those things on the wall, you'd think they'd be like control panels, or I guess maybe they're just art or something. You think they'd have some significance, but they don't. So yeah, another little aquarium area. That's unfortunately basically it. It just shows you how cool the pipe thing looks. And this thing in the middle is basically, it's the shaft that connects the inflow to the outflow. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat that, I'm glad they actually show that to you. I mean, it's a bit, it's a bit of an exposition dump. Rather than kind of hinting at it, they basically explain everything that's going on. And actually, that's also a great question. Why do you need oxygen when you could just have a bunch of brain coral? Because that stuff pumps out oxygen. Okay, so let's go to the other side. Woohoo! All right. Right, so here...
This room appears to be a biological archive storing more than 40 indigenous egg specimens in different states of development.
Yep, and then of course we heard the sea dragon roar. So you can't actually scan these. And honestly, so this one is a lot bigger than it normally is. That's one of those jelly rays. That's actually amp eel, bone shark, sand shark, crash fish. See, look how big that is. I mean, so they're basically just, and then there's some over here that are just, like that top one, that's a lava lizard egg, but it's, I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's kind of, I am complaining a little bit. Like, it's kind of lazy just to cut and paste multiple eggs and then just change the sizes and stuff. but we get it. And actually so they use that as a spadefish egg. Originally it was supposed to be a reefback egg, and you can, like the size where it is there, I believe that. I believe a reefback could hatch from it. And then of course right here you have a sea dragon egg. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what kind of egg this is. Sea Emperor Leviathan research data. And of course it doesn't show you, it kind of teases you with it. So you've seen the fetus and you've seen part of the adult. Specimen size categories have been adjusted upward to accommodate this species. Feeding and digestion. Alien research data indicates that despite its size, this species feeds entirely on microorganisms it filters from the water, which themselves depend on a complicated ecosystem of plant and animal life. Reproduction. Large ovary-like organs are carried in the creature's middle section, suggesting that other species on this planet it produces eggs. However, internal scar tissue indicates probable infertility. Enzyme 42. The Emperor manufactures Enzyme 42 within its stomach cavity to break down its food, and will occasionally expel it into the surrounding waters. This substance was found to neutralize the effects of the bacterium, and its presence in the ecosystem today would explain how life on the planet survived the outbreak. It would remain to be explained by what mechanism the enzyme is being delivered. We pretty much know everything at this point. The Sea Emperor is the enzymes in its stomach that it uses to break down its food are basically the only reason the little crater, this one crater on the planet, has any life in it. I'm not quite sure how they're going to justify the expansion, because there's the whole Arctic biome that they're working on right now. And so I'm kind of curious how that's going to fit into the lore because if you go, we'll have to go outside of the crater, and there's just ghost leviathans out there, and they just pretty much immediately kill you. They just spawn like one every 30 seconds, I think, up to 5, and you just get destroyed. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to know how they're going to justify that. They must have some plan, because they showed the Arctic biome during the ending. I mean, they showed the island. So, health. Comparative analysis of size and metabolic rates indicates the specimen captured by the researchers was approximately 1,600 years old. Extensive internal and external scar tissue suggests it had lived well in excess of the peak lifespans for its species. Assessment. While a healthy emperor specimen may have held some potential as a cure, it is unlikely any research subjects survived quarantine procedures. So with all that said, there's still one door left to check. So let's go check that out now. Okay. So it's kind of creepy, isn't it? Like, it's super quiet in here, except for my talking, of course. There's a big empty room. They have a different water texture because obviously they don't want you to be able to see what's beneath. Let's just jump in. Boom.
Others came here once. They built these walls. They played alone. They bored me. Now they're gone. And instead, we have you. We are curious whether you swim with the current or fight against it as they did.
So you can't actually scan her. I have chased her and tried. And it's interesting because her little speech sounds kind of menacing. It's like, oh, are you here to play? We'll play with you. Now we have you. And in fact, like, the music, you know, it's reminiscent of the blood kelp. And see, she's got the same trail that the enzyme host peepers have. But yeah, why they decided to use the blood kelp music, like, right off the bat, I have no idea. I mean, it definitely... I will admit...
Detecting unusually passive behavioral patterns in nearby predators. Reason unknown.
Yeah, so I will admit to being freaked out when I first saw her. But... I mean, just look at the size of her. She's huge. Right, so there's actually a couple things in here. There's this area back here, and none of the enemies will attack you. Or none of the creatures. Right, they talk about being super passive and everything else. And you'll see there's obviously stalkers, there's a couple bone sharks. Although, let's be fair, they don't have any of this... Did I just get whacked? I did, okay. Well, not whacked, per se. Yeah, none of the super aggressive predators, like there's no crab snakes, there's no, you know, crab squids, no leviathans of any kind except for her.
Unlike other alien facilities, scans indicate this location supports a diverse and healthy ecosystem. Explanation unclear at this time.
It shouldn't be unclear. It's pretty clear that there's the pipes. So this actually teleports you outside, like above, like basically where we jumped in. But you don't really need to do that. You don't need to use that gate. You can if you're freaked out, but there's really no need. See, like the bone shark, they won't hurt you. It's almost like we're in a alien containment tank. One thing we are going to want here, as we kind of seahorse along, you know, bob up and down. Oh, got it. I guess they'll eat each other, but not us. So that's good. Where is... So there's like... There it is. Okay, so the alien cords you can kind of follow.
The plant life in this area is growing outside its normal conditions. Other life forms fertilizing and pruning the vegetation may be offsetting this environmental deficit.
Yep. So here we go. Sea crown. This plant, I mean, it looks cool as hell. This plant consists primarily of large bladder-like sac containing a huge variety of bacterial species, which may enable it to break down complex compounds it draws from the root system. Shares large sections of genetic code with the membrane tree. Environmental scans indicate this plant is rare to the point of extinction. So you want to take a little sample, get yourself a seed. Hey there.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
And let's see, where are we going? This way? Maybe this way.
Environment scans indicate the water here is rich with a rare, plankton-like life form which depends on the organic detritus produced by the ecosystem around it.
Yeah, I assume, like, when I first heard that, I assumed it was Enzyme 42, but it's a life form, so I assume it's maybe the food for the Sea Emperor. So here you have eggs. And we'll kind of watch her. She... kind of settles down. Hang on real fast. Alright, I'm back now with the cat in my lap, so we're good. So yeah, you have a mama bear, basically kind of watching, and you have your eggs. Her eggs, not mine, obviously. Oh, hang on. See, that's why you take so much water, because it's like you just, you know, we'll take 2, right? Okay, so you approach the thing, and then you're like, incubator. All right. Advanced theories. Hatching enzymes. The emperor specimen's eggs are attached to some form of incubator. In a normal life cycle, it seems likely that sea emperors would have buried their eggs in shallower waters, where different organic materials in the soil would have triggered a hatching response. The incubator suggests the aliens had resorted to developing artificial hatching enzymes, which would simulate the egg's natural hatching environment, but were unable to discover the formula. With extensive information on the sea emperors themselves, it may still be possible to fabricate an artificial hatching enzyme using indigenous ingredients. However, the only surviving source of that information may be the sea emperor itself. So you're like, okay, no problem, I will scan her, but you can't. You just can't. It's like she's not there. Unless she's hitting you with the claws. And also she just swims too fast. Sea Emperor eggs. Shell. Uncommonly strong shell lining. Organic growth on the exterior suggests these eggs may be hundreds or thousands of years old. Alien devices penetrate the outer shell layer, likely designed to supply them with nutrients and to isolate them from the surrounding environment. Okay, could you be quiet, Mr. Alien Crab? Amniotic sac. Like many eggs on 4546b, these do not contain a nutrient supply, which is slowly exhausted by the embryo. Instead, they exist in a form of natural stasis, awaiting appropriate hatching conditions. Fetal organism. There's a high genetic match between these organisms and the Leviathan in the vicinity. They appear to be stable and healthy. It is likely that ideal hatching conditions for the eggs vary considerably from ideal survival conditions for the parent. Yeah. That is definitely the case.
My young need to hatch, to play outside this place. We have been here so long. The others built a passage to reach the world outside. I asked them for this freedom, but they could not hear me. If you help us, I will give you freely what the others tried in vain to take.
So there's an alien arch. Yep. Dust it off just a little bit. So it's interesting, right? Like, she wants her young to hatch, and the aliens the precursors wanted her young to hatch as well. But they didn't know the hatching enzymes. They didn't know how to make them. And she tried to tell them, but I guess they were not telepathic. So, yeah. So since they weren't telepathic, they couldn't figure out what the hatching enzymes were. And they're basically just doomed. But we are not Well, I mean, we're not telepathic either, but we can hear her. And she couldn't communicate with the aliens, with the precursors, for whatever reason.
With the passage you have opened, my young can leave this place. But first they must feel the time is right and break free of their shells. This is what the others could not force from me. To you, I give the secret willingly.
Right on. So now we have the hatching enzymes. And I did see something... Aquarium Arch. Yeah, I can't see that at all. Let's go this way. Okay. Scans indicate this arch was left inactive when the facility was abandoned. It likely served as an access point to the surface of the planet. It is much too small for the Emperor to pass through, but would accommodate smaller life forms. Right, so... that actually takes you out near the quarantine enforcement platform. On the outside of the gun platform, there's an arch just like this, just sitting there. And so that's where it goes. Advanced theories. See Emperor's life cycle. You get this when you get the hatching enzymes. Available biological data has been used to synthesize the effects of the alien bacterium on the Sea Emperor's natural life cycle. This creature likely lived and moved in small herds. Whoa there, that was kind of crazy. Seeing the tentacles or whatever. This creature likely lived and moved in small herds around the planet's ocean trenches, coming to the surface to feed off the huge volumes of microorganisms in the shallower waters. Family size would be strictly limited by available food supply. Offspring would likely split off at a young age to form their own herds elsewhere. Given their sparse population, mating and egg-laying was likely infrequent, perhaps once-in-a-lifetime event. The species likely had a preferred environment for egg-laying. In fact, successful hatching may depend on such conditions. Given the rarity of this event, it is impossible to calculate those conditions precisely. There is no evidence to support the assumption that all members of the species were immune from the alien bacterium. Even if this is so, there is evidence that introduction of the bacterium decimated life on the planet, and this would have had catastrophic effects on the Emperor's food supply and survival rate. The symbiotic relationship between this specimen and other life forms likely developed as a direct result of the bacterial infection. Those life forms which learned to keep the Emperor alive survived with its help. This may explain the vast tracts of lifeless ocean in a rough perimeter around the Emperor's location. So that's kind of what the... Oh, we gotta eat again. We will go out there at some point, but not quite yet. So that's basically the point is that the peepers come in and they bring in, you know, food from elsewhere, seeds and other stuff. And then they come in and they swim around here and they, you know, they've consumed it, but sort of, you know, they swallow the seeds, not necessarily eat them, right? So they bring the seeds and stuff in here and everything grows and lives. And that's what provides the... See, there's a vent right there. And that's what provides... Also, there's a ton of peepers in this area. I mean, that makes sense. And it's what provides the Sea Emperor with the food that it needs. Man, look at all of them. In fact, they're going out that way. That's cool as hell. I've never sat and watched it. But you can tell they're going for the vent. That's awesome. Alright, so we'll jump through this warp. And like I said, that's just going to take us to the top of the tank. Right, so we're up here. And yeah, that was kind of weird. Like the splash sound effect. You can go up the stairs, but it's a bit more of a pain than actually, you know, just going up the little... Yeah, it's kind of like a moon pool, I suppose. So essentially what you want to do is, oh yeah, we have to look at the hatching.
Calorie intake recommended.
Yep, I'm on it. I'm on it. Hatching enzymes. An organic substance derived from plants found in the Emperor's natural breeding grounds, designed to trigger a hatching response. So you need 5 things. And 4 of them. So the sea crown seed you get in the tank. I mean, you can find it other places, but in the tank is kind of the big one. So we'll go here, because each of the 4, we have time, I think. Each of the 4 have one of the ingredients that you need. Hang on, Manny. Okay, there we go. All right. Pop out here. We'll get ourselves some food. Tons of shuttle bugs. There you go. Cooked whole fish number 1.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Okay, that should do us for now. Right, okay, so we needed fungal enzymes. You basically just go up here. See, those are the jelly rays that I was talking about. Get one of those. You can see right there. Contains fungal enzymes. They just... It's, you know, it's a little, I don't know.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
It, you know, feels kind of cheesy. It's like, hop through one, you know, warp gate and get what you need, then go to a different one, and go to a different one, and other stuff. You don't have to get down, Minnie. Or you could get up and stand right next to the mouse again, like normal. I guess that's what we're gonna do. Well, I guess it has been almost an hour. Automatically means time to eat for Manny. I literally fed him, like, right before starting this. Oh well, what can you do? All right. So we needed ghost weed as well, which you get from the blood kelp zones and also the Lost River, or the, you know, the upper parts of the Lost River. There's more sulfur if you need it, and we will. It's, yeah, it's the end game. Building the rocket is like the biggest scavenger thing overall. All right, so let's make sure, drink another thing of water, and then watch out, Manny. Okay, so there is ghostweed. There is some, and there's also one of those. There you go. Ghostweed. Alright, so we have ghostweed and we need, what, 2 more things? Just make sure I have enough room. Yeah. Because fungal samples take, or the mushroom thing takes up like 1 spot and these take up 4. All the rest take up 4. So we'll hit the, if I can remember which one it is. We'll go to, I'd like to go to the crag fields last. But honestly, I can't remember. So we'll just pick one and cross our fingers that I get the correct one. Although I think at this point they're both about equally as far. So it might not matter a whole lot, except I want to be able to find my way back. That's kind of the key. That's the key in my mind. Alright, so I think this one's the... Well, I don't remember. We'll figure it out. Worst case scenario, we just have to go through another gate again. So once you, yeah, this is the crag fields, isn't it? Oh well. Or maybe it's not, I don't know. So once we get all the samples, we'll, what did I get hit? Oh, you kidding me? You again? Whatever. Yeah, okay. Okay, jump out and then we'll repair, because why not? And it's just right here. Right next to those things. Oh, I haven't scanned this before. Well, alright then. Okay. Eye stalk, a cave-dwelling tuber dotted with luminescent, photosensitive eyes. These eyes may in some way direct the twisted growth of the stems themselves, possibly in reaction to other light sources, proximity of cave walls, or other environmental conditions. Cool. So just take a sample of that. Yep. All right. One more sample to go. I don't like you. Okay, so it's dead. But see, that was my concern with the crab snake. It seems to have come back to life. And I'm stuck. Okay. No longer stuck. Yeah, so I don't know if it just came back to life or if it was a different one that came into the area. It seems like they respawn after a set amount of time. So, like, you know, with the rest of the fish, with the whole fish and the bladder fish and all that stuff, any fish that you consume or capture or use, it seems like it just, like, there's probably just a set number and it replaces them rather than actually simulating, you know, growths, like population growth or, you know, any of that stuff. But I'm okay with that. Yep, there's the lights turning back on. Right, so once we have all of our samples, obviously you need to fabricate it, which means we'll need to head back to either the Cyclops or the base. And I think at this point, I'd probably just rather head to the base. I'm not even certain at this point if the Cyclops is still, like, if it still has power. Just because, you know, potentially all the lava leeches. So, we will need to head back to the Cyclops at one point anyway. Oh. So they don't typically come across. Of course, it still hit me. Oh, now it's across. Well, alright. Take that. Oh, and there's an ampule right there. Alright, so we have our bulb bush. I hear the ampule, I just don't know where it is. That doesn't really matter. Okay, so we have everything we need now. Yep. What I think I'll do is we'll head back to the tank, like rather than going to the crag field and back, we'll head to the tank and then jump through the gate the babies are going to use. And that'll take us down near the cannon. And that's, you know, also pretty much a straight shot back to the base. It's not, you know, it doesn't go over any particularly dangerous area or anything. All right. See, that's the gate that we came out of. Easy enough to just drop down. There's Big Mama herself. This area is that we're going to, I mean, it's safe, but you're still going to hear the Reaper. Yep, you can hear it already. See, and that's where you go to turn off the cannon. So we'll just leave the prawn. I'm just gonna leave the prawn right here, although I will trade out its power cells. Looks like the sun's coming up too. Yeah, so it's a little ways away, actually. Probably farther than, I don't know. Might have been faster just to go through the other gate and then, you know, the crag fields. That was about 1,000 meters. And that's, well, looks to be about, from where I started, maybe 1,800 meters, which is almost twice as far. But, you know, well, it's too late now. I mean, it's not too late, but may as well be. So we've been kind of lucky. There's a warper right there. I was just thinking about that. We haven't been really attacked by warpers. Not really. I mean, it's, you know, there's been a few of them, but not substantially so. I'm hoping the world's going to load in okay. It was looking like it was going to load in chunks. So I'm going to run back here, make ourselves the hatching enzyme, and then get back to the tank, and then we'll stop there. Yep, so we still have a few things left to do in the game. As far as the actual story goes, I mean, you know, we're basically done. We have to fabricate the hatching enzyme, administer the hatching enzyme, become cured, turn off the gun platform, build the rocket, and then escape the planet. That's basically it. But as far as what I wanted to show you guys, there's still some stuff left. There's all the different alien sanctuaries. There's like 3 of them. There's unfortunately not a whole lot else. There is well, I mean, there's the dead zone. You know, when you go not outside the map, but outside the crater itself, and it, you know, it just turns all black, and then ghost leviathans constantly spawn and attack you. So I mean, there's that. There's not really a whole lot else. Something that I did find the,
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, we're definitely taking those waters. And the salt too, as soon as I... Advanced hatching enzymes. Boom. What is the electronics? Oh yeah, the ion power cell, the ion battery. Do you have to keep moving closer, Manny? I don't... You know... Okay, what do I have? Stasis rifle, sea glide, propulsion cannon, scanner, habitat builder, flashlight. One's enough. Alright. Did I grab the salt? No. We'll grab the salt. Top off our food. Boom. All right. I'm going to grab a little bit more coral. Because I only have, what, 3 bottles of water? 4 bottles? That's, I mean, that should be enough, but I just want to be prepared. Because, I mean, look through how many we went through just by being there for a bit. Oh yeah, I gotta show you guys the Cuttlefish. Let's do that now. Let's do that now so I don't forget. Wrong way. Okay. So ever since I watched Christopher Odd's playthrough of Subnautica, he named his Ursula because of the Little Mermaid, and it's like I can't think of anything else. That's just how it is. Okay, so we're gonna drop curious species hatched from an egg in alien containment. Boom. So there it is. It just kind of swims around. It'll typically stay around you unless you tell it to stay. Command to stop, follow, or play with the fish. Alright, come here. Play. It's like, give me the cookie. Yeah, high five. It's super cute. It's a good little addition. Oh, it's so adorable. So it has a few different, command, halt. And then it's unhappy, command to follow. No, you stay here because... Oh, no, not just yet. We have to grab our... We shouldn't need them, but I want to grab the extra power cells. Boom, there you go. Back to the prawn suit. Yeah, a bit of a longer episode. I guess that's something I'm going to have to work on. You know. Oh wait, what is going on here? Stalkers and gasopods fighting, perhaps? Hard to say. Hard to say. Oh yeah, okay. That's, it's all good. Oh yeah, I still have to scan the Reaper Leviathan too. Yeah, we'll do that. Yep. Yeah, so I don't know, I like to keep my episodes about an hour. Obviously, as I do this more and more, and I play games that I enjoy, I mean, to be fair, I enjoy most games. But yeah, it's going to be like... Some cases I imagine it's going to be really hard. It'll be like, oh, just, one more thing. Oh, just one more thing. Oh, just one more thing. Next thing you know, it's like 4 hours long. So hopefully, hopefully I'll be able to rein that in a little bit. I didn't expect it to take quite so long to... it was about an hour, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll just do the hatching enzymes and all that, and it's like... Seems to be taking a little bit longer. But it'll be okay. Back to the back to the prawn suit, and there's one of the Reaper Leviathans that you can hear, and the Warper that you can hear as well. I didn't see it. I mean, I'm sure it's below me or behind me or something, but there's one of the peepers. I'm just glad I was able to scan the Ghost Leviathan. That thing, I'd done it once before that, and it was just a real, it was a real pain. There's a Warper. So they'll pretty much attack you within a certain, like I'm expecting it to kind of go after me now, but it hasn't, which is weird.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Yep, I'm back. Okay, well, let's... Alright. Yeah, and the color kind of... That's kind of creepy, isn't it? Seeing her come out of the darkness like that. And then settling down. Alright. Let's stop here. So as always, guys, seriously, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I really do appreciate you guys watching these videos, and I really hope you're enjoying them as well. Any feedback, let me know. You know, same with everyone else. If you like the video, if you enjoy it, subscribe, follow, like, all that stuff. Hope to see you guys next time. Until then, take care, guys.